Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, where we break down the hidden psychology behind human behavior and the patterns that quietly shape our everyday lives. Today, we're diving into something that looks simple on the surface but is actually deeply psychological. The reason why some people just don't keep their house clean. And before you jump to conclusions, no. This is not just about laziness. In fact, if you've ever looked at someone's messy space and thought they just don't care, there's a high chance you're missing the bigger picture. Because behind clutter, behind that pile of clothes, those unwashed dishes, that chaotic room, there's usually something much deeper going on. Let's start with the first. Reason mental overload. We live in a world where people are constantly processing information. Stress, pressure, and expectations. Work deadlines, social obligations, financial worries, emotional struggles, it all adds up. And when the brain reaches its limit, it starts prioritizing survival over organization. Cleaning your room doesn't feel urgent when your mind is trying to keep you afloat. So it gets pushed aside. Not because it doesn't matter, because everything else feels heavier. Second, emotional attachment to objects. For some people, things are not just things. That old hoodie, those random papers, even items that seem useless, they can hold emotional value. Memories, identity, comfort. Letting go of them can feel uncomfortable, even painful. So instead of clearing space, they hold on. And over time, those small attachments turn into visible clutter. What you see as mess, they might experience as meaning. Third, perfectionism in disguise. This one surprises a lot of people. Some individuals don't clean not because they're careless, but because they care too much. They want everything to be perfect, completely organized, spotless. But when they think about how much effort that would take, they feel overwhelmed before they even begin. So they delay, they avoid. And the longer they wait, the worse it gets. It's an all-or-nothing mindset, and it often leads to nothing at all. Now pause for a second. If you're starting to see this differently, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Because here, we don't just talk about what people do, we uncover why they do it. Fourth, lack of control in life. When someone feels like they don't have control over important areas of their life, career, relationships, personal direction, it can affect how they manage their environment. A messy space can become a reflection of that inner chaos. It's not always intentional. Sometimes it's just that when you feel lost internally, organizing your external world doesn't feel meaningful anymore. Why fix the room when everything else feels uncertain? Fifth, decision fatigue. This is something most people underestimate. Every single object in your home requires a decision. Where should this go? Should I keep this or throw it away? Should I clean now or later? And when someone is already making hundreds of decisions throughout the day, even small choices can feel exhausting. So instead of deciding, they postpone. They say, I'll do it later. And later keeps getting delayed until the clutter builds up. Sixth, rebellion against control. Some people grew up in environments where cleanliness wasn't a choice, it was enforced. Strict parents, constant criticism, pressure to keep everything perfect. Over time, cleaning stopped feeling like self-care and started feeling like control. So when they become independent, they subconsciously resist it. Mess becomes a symbol of freedom. It's their way of saying, this is my space. I decide how it looks, even if they're not fully aware of it. And finally, the seventh reason, low emotional energy. This goes beyond just being tired. This is about emotional burnout. A person might have the time, the ability, even the awareness that they should clean, but they still don't do it. Why? Because they don't feel the energy inside. When someone is emotionally drained, even simple tasks feel meaningless. Cleaning doesn't feel rewarding. It feels like just another thing on an already heavy list. And when you combine a few of these factors together, the result is what we see on the outside, a messy environment. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your environment and your mind are in a constant feedback loop. A cluttered space can increase stress, reduce focus, and make you feel more overwhelmed. But at the same time, a stressed and overwhelmed mind can create that clutter in the first place. It feeds itself. The mess affects the mind, and the mind creates more. mess. That's why telling someone to just clean up rarely works, because the real issue is not always the room. It's what's happening inside the person living in that room. And this is where a shift in perspective becomes powerful instead of judging. You start observing instead of criticizing. You start understanding. You begin to ask better questions, not just about others, but about yourself too. If your space is messy, what is it trying to tell you? Is your mind overloaded? Are you holding on to things emotionally? Are you avoiding starting because it feels too overwhelming? Are you feeling out of control in other areas of life? Because once you understand the reason, the solution becomes clearer. And here's something most people don't realize. Change doesn't start with cleaning the whole house. It starts small. It starts with one decision, one corner, one surface. Because when you take a small action, your brain starts to feel a sense of control again. And that feeling builds momentum. Slowly, the environment begins to shift in. So, does your mental state? It's not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming aware. So the next time you see someone living in a messy space, don't rush to label them as lazy or careless. You might be looking at stress, emotional attachment, past experiences, or silent struggles you can't see. And if that someone is you, then maybe it's not about judging yourself either. Maybe it's about understanding yourself better. Because at the end of the day, your environment is not just a physical space. It's a reflection of your inner world. And when you start working on that inner world, everything outside begins to change naturally. Now, I want to hear from you. Do you think a messy space truly reflects what's going on inside a person's mind? Or do you believe it's simply a habit that anyone can fix with discipline? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want to keep exploring the deeper side of human behavior, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because every video here is designed to help you understand people not just on the surface, but at a much deeper level. I'll see you in the next one.